I recently finished my full explanation series of the entire INAZUMA 11 Victory Road story, and I realised something. How would the story emotionally pay off if it was from Raimon's side? If this was Raimon's story, how would it look? Having South Cirrus on the backdrop of the world, so it's time to see what it would actually turn out like. So here's the entire INAZUMA 11 Victory Road story explained, if Raimon were the focus. So grab yourself a snack and enjoy. This is the Football Frontier final, Raimon vs Northbright. Northbright built their team around Nikas. Nikas has incredible football capabilities and scans the entire pitch when he plays. Their entire team is filled with raw talent, and Destin sees Nikas' full potential. After challenging every Raimon player on the pitch, suddenly, Nikas no longer has the ball. Harper Evans approached him from a blind spot, undetected, and he stole the ball and began a counter-attack. He is the son of the legendary Mark Evans, a football monster with natural skill. This is his official debut match. It could be the birth of a new legend. Even with 4 players marking Evans, he still wins the ball and dribbles it over to the box. Nikas catches up and the two challenge one-on-one, but Evans breaks through and takes his shot, declaring a goal before he even kicks the ball. And just like he predicted, he scored, erupting the stadium in cheers. Raimon scored an opening goal only 1 minute into the game, thanks to the legendary Evans family, barely out of his debut and has the aura of a champion. The game ended 6-0. Raimon is an unshakable fortress. Northbright are frozen in disbelief on the pitch, but Harper Evans, however, doesn't seem so pleased with his performance. He finds football
kind of boring.
The Evans fan club grows rapidly, but he's such a big deal, it's like he's untouchable. Harper seems down. He doesn't think it's as fun as it used to be. He feels as if he's in a slump. Ever since Raimon's rise to fame, all top talents have been flocking there. They are a powerhouse and have not faced any heart-racing challenges. 25 years ago, Raimon was a weak team and Harper's dad turned it into fame. Perhaps someone else, somewhere, can do the same thing. Despite what his team thinks, Harper isn't looking for a strong rival. All Harper wants is to make friends. Elsewhere, someone is spying on the Raimon team and wants to keep an eye on Harper Evans. Over at Raimon Academy, the chairperson, Nellie Evans, received an affiliation request from a school called West Manor Academy and is asking for support from their football club, as in borrowing a club's players from an affiliated school, even in tournaments. She accepts the request and dispatches players over to West Manor. Elsewhere, on a boat across the shore, Harper Evans tagged along on a trip. Harper is scared of his mom, even his own dad too. He wanted a change of pace on this trip since football has been a bit dull for him lately. Even though he could walk away and find what brings him real joy, he feels like he was born to play football. Harper and Darian were sent over on loan for 1 game against a new up-and-coming club, South Cirrus, who have been out of the football scene for over 5 years. As Harper and Darian walk onto the pitch, some guy stares at him and senses his insane aura. And the Football Frontier playoffs begin. Immediately Harper Evans charges toward the goal and nobody can even touch him. He takes a sudden shot that Alex had no chance of saving. It was just too strong. But him doing this makes the West Manor team displeased in having Raimon players on their team. Only having the ball for a matter of moments, it gets stolen away and Harper blasts it into the back of the net again, and it happens again once more, stealing a hat-trick for himself before half-time. Victory being ensured at this point, the West Manor manager lets Darian and Harper rest for the second half. Yasmin senses that the South Cirrus team allowed them to pass through, but it seems like they just lost the will to fight. The second half begins with Harper and Darian on the bench, exactly as Destin planned. Now Harper and Darian on the bench with victory assured, South Cirrus begin to act differently. They act as if they're trying now. They don't stop barrages of attacks using their special moves that they purposely hid in the first half. It seems almost on purpose. It doesn't take long until South Cirrus absolutely dominate the game and make a comeback against West Manor, winning the game 4-3, toppling over West Manor, piquing Harper's interest. But more specifically, shows interest in Destin, being the playmaker even though he does not play. So when Destin sits alone after the game, Harper comes up to speak to him, asking why he doesn't play even though he knows football like the back of his hand. Destin says he can't play because of his illness. Destin once collapsed on the football pitch. He has a rare heart condition and the doctor told him to always avoid high intensity activities, and he cannot play football anymore. The doctor uses mere data and statistics to take football away from his life, and this broke him to pieces. But his silence shows that he will never be able to play, and Harper just finds it weird that Destin doesn't just do something else. Destin wants to know what it's like to be admired by everyone, and to be as good at football as Harper. He is the football monster of junior high. What would it feel like? But Harper doesn't feel anything. It just means he's a bit better than most people. He didn't ask for it. And maybe if Destin keeps winning, their paths may cross again. The encounter with South Cirrus has been living rent-free in Harper's head, but he forgot his meeting with his manager Norris. Norris wanted to discuss Harper's mental state. He hasn't seemed like himself lately, and it's his birthday coming up, but he isn't excited. He doesn't get birthday presents, he never has. Instead he has a big fancy dinner with his family. Meanwhile, in another game for Raimon Junior High, Harper Evans gets injured and is carried off the pitch. News Online even says Harper Evans is beyond recovery, and at Raimon there's rumours that say his football days are over. Raimon Football Club trains as usual, but Harper has to sit out from his injury. He is just depressed. Harper Evans has a hairline fracture in his ankle and probably won't be back until the end of the tournament. But Harper isn't in a rush. He doesn't care if he does or doesn't play football. And he thinks that this is karma. Karma for not putting his heart into football. This was his punishment. It's like he was depressed for disrespecting his feelings and not giving his all for his teammates. He even feels distant from his team, partly because he never tried to get to know them. Darian tells him to just take a break, to visit some places or meet new people. Harper Evans remembers a time he faced off against Destin. It keeps flashing into his brain, and so he took a boat to Nagasaki, alone. Harper takes time to enjoy this new city. He gets a unique ice cream, but he feels embarrassed to be doing this alone. Nagasaki is peaceful and exciting for Harper. He's never even seen a tram, they just aren't around Tokyo. He's surprised to see cats everywhere, like they make it their home. They are free. He helps a girl find happiness for a 4-leaf clover. And Nagasaki is just so different to Tokyo. It is filled with hills and the city is built around the landscape. The famous Kraken statue reminds Harper of his Uncle Jack, looking sort of like an octopus. Harper searches for Destin Bellows at South Cirrus and surprises him. He says that he can't play football now and wants to see him. He answers Destin's question from the other day. What it's like being at the top, being admired by everyone. He used to think football didn't mean much and that it was boring. But now for him, it's frustrating and it eats at him when he can't play. It stings him and he begins to cry. It reminds Destin of himself. So the two take a tour of Nagasaki together. They bond over turtles, ice cream, and just overall exploring across Nagasaki. They got to see penguins together and Nika spotted them hanging out. They spend the whole day together, eating noodles and looking far into the scenery. Harper starts feeling better. He finally gets it. He originally didn't understand the question. Truth is, Destin was criticising him. He had it all on a silver platter and he didn't even try to enjoy football. Destin wishes he could know that feeling. It turns out, Harper was the problem. How can you enjoy something if you don't even try? Harper is joyed of his day with Destin and says goodbye. He has to go home now. Back at Raimon, they did notice that Harper is missing, and Leah worries about him, but Darian says he has to overcome more than just a physical injury. He has to heal his mental state too. It surprises Leah because she thought the whole time he's just a normal kid who's good at football, not knowing the storm that was brewing deep inside, making him depressed. Evans plays football at a whole different level, but he wouldn't just be injured like that in a normal game. Darian thinks that there is more at play here. Destin chases after Harper before he can board his train. He needed to tell him something. And the day passes. And now the day's here. The very first match at the very top. All the teams walk out onto the pitch to make their introductions. As South Cirrus walk on, Destin falls over. Maybe he is a little bit nervous. But following his tumble, the rest of the Football Frontier final qualifying teams proceed onto the pitch. Stormridge Junior High, the Masters of Keshin, the rule-bound and by-the-book Lawcrest Junior High, AI Academy with their cutting-edge technology, Noble Insight Institute, the champions of classic football, Alpine Junior High, the Silver Knights with a selfless spirit, the infamous Royal Academy with their impenetrable fortress of tactical precision, and finally, last year's champions, and the legendary undefeated kings, Raimon Junior High. Back at Raimon, Eleanor and Darian talk about Harper. He's been off again. Even after spending a lot of time with Harper, Darian understands nothing about him, and it was the same with everyone else. He wants to visit Harper at his home. He feels he's lost a friend and wants to be there to support him. Harper never referred to Darian as captain, only by name, unlike the rest of the team. Maybe that was his way of saying he didn't want to be seen as just another player. Later that day at Harper's house, it's covered in old memorabilia of Raimon's prime days, and Darian gets to meet the legendary Mark Evans. Mark credits Darian's ability for shaping Raimon's current team. He says it's in a much better state now than what it was when he was a captain. Darian is worried that he isn't attending school or practicing with the club. Maybe it's true that Harper is beyond recovery. The reason he hasn't come back isn't because of his leg injury. If he really wanted to return, he would go back to the world he loved, much like Destin Bellows has. Only Harper can make this decision and find his answer. Everyone's overestimated Harper when he was called the football monster, but Mark doesn't think so. He thinks the real monster is Destin Bellows. After staying for dinner, Darian remembers what Harper told him not too long ago, that he found football boring and he just wants to make friends. Darian now realises how he never truly understood Harper. The signs were all there that inside he was not fine, but the onslaught of goals coming from Harper convinced everyone that he was fine, but he always felt alone. The next day at Raimon, Darian looks for Leia. He finds her drinking tea and says that she sent a video to Eleanor. She's analysing the video in the club room and wants him there immediately to see what she's found. The footage was of Harper's injury. They're trying to figure out what caused his injury. It's terrible luck that Harper got injured on his birthday. Although it's likely Harper collided with someone, something is bugging Darian. Eleanor too thinks it's weird Harper got hurt in such a minor incident. And Darian spots something troubling. When Harper fell to the ground, the opponent didn't even touch his leg. He took a dive and screamed injury. And there's something weird on his boots. The day of his birthday, there was a gift in his locker room. Eleanor and Leah go to investigate this further because something nefarious could be at play. Later that day, the three of them visit Addison Norris, the Raimon manager, accusing him of orchestrating Harper's injury. Apparently, he called out to Harper before the game, giving him new boots, claiming they're from his dad. Harper put them on right away, since he never gets birthday presents. He probably felt surprised and happy that he just got one. However, Norris knew this. Harper told him one time he never gets birthday presents. The boots had a needle in them to inject a muscle suppressant. It made his muscles give out and he collapsed, hurting his leg. And he paid a doctor to fake a diagnosis, saying that it's career ending. Norris claims this is just speculation, but Darian has proof. The stadium cameras caught his conversation and they even have Harper's boots at hand. Norris ordered the staff to retrieve his boots, but they never did, because when Harper was being carried away, he told the staff that he wanted to keep the boots since they were the first present his dad ever gave him. They mean a lot to him. The equipment manager decided to honour Harper's request instead of Norris's orders. They have already confirmed how the boots are rigged. Norris gets agitated and aggressive in this moment. He lays his hands on Darian in an attempt to intimidate him. Norris finally breaks and reveals his true self. He thinks Raimon is this entitled cushy school. He hates Harper, he hates Raimon, he hates them all. Right in this moment, the police enter. Nellie Evans called them when she learned of Manager Norris's betrayal. Manager Norris blames Harper for what happened to his son. Back in Junior League, the only person who could keep up with Harper was his son, Isle Holland. Isle suffered an injury during a match against Harper. His football career ended after this injury. He couldn't handle the shock to escape, and he ran into traffic to end it all. Isle could have surpassed even Harper. He was Norris's pride and joy. He blames Harper Evans for it all. He thinks his son also hated Harper Evans, unaware about their true relationship. Isle didn't take his own life because of Harper. Harper and Isle may have clashed in football, but shared no rivalry beyond it. They shared their training routines. They trained and improved side by side, sharing workouts, pointing out each other's weaknesses. They weren't only rivals, they made each other stronger. In one of the last posts from Isle, he says, "Harper, I only got to play football because of you. I can't play anymore, but will you keep playing for me?" They never resented each other. Their hearts were as one. Darian thought Harper found football boring because he was too good, but that wasn't the reason. Harper found out Isle's true feelings when it was too late. Isle told Harper that he can just do something else, since he can't return to football. There are plenty of other fun things to do, but Harper and Isle both knew deep down nothing could replace football to them. Harper even remembers that he told Destin to go and do something else instead of playing football, knowing that it was some of the last words Isle said to him, and it was secretly a coping mechanism for his broken love for football. Harper knew football was boring in middle school. He doesn't remember when it stopped being fun. Harper's inner child speaks with a vision of Isle. He now wants to play so bad it drove him crazy. After his injury, he finally feels the pain that Isle felt back then. Unable to play, he asks for permission. He asks Isle that the football they can no longer play together, if it's okay, that he can play with Destin instead. Deep down, Harper saw Isle within Destin, and his love for football only sparked back through his brief encounters through Destin. Harper just wants to return back to football. Isle says his soul will always stay within Harper, and he will live on through football. Norris didn't know that Isle loved football that much. He's now confused why his own son would take his own life. Maybe because he could no longer do what he loved the most. But actually, he didn't take his own life. He never even wanted to. The car veered off the road because of poor maintenance. The driver tried to hide what happened, and it was ruled as an accident. Harper is the future of football. He could lead everyone in the country to a new era. But Norris has taken that away. He feels tremendous guilt for what he's done. He feels the weight overshadow him. The policewoman, Maeve Smith, says her grandpa would never forgive anyone who uses football to do wrong, and they will keep busting people like Norris to clean up the game. Harper is working hard out in the wilderness, and an old lady comes to visit him and feed him some rice balls. Harper only recently met this lady, but she notices he's been pushing himself so hard lately. He has to recover fast and be in top form so he can soon battle someone strong. And for a brief moment, it looks like Harper is having fun. Back at Raimon, Darian can't stop thinking about Harper. The whole team don't realise what's going on with him. The one teammate knew he was always lonely. Harper sends a message to Darian. He knows that Darian is worrying about him as always and asks him for a favour, and then the day passes. Everyone is doing their own training before the final, so Darian acts as a good captain and checks in on everyone. And he finds everyone just hanging out in the club room. They figured since South Cirrus are still rookies, they think staying in top shape matters more than practicing. They think catching a cold on match day feels like a bigger risk than losing, and Darian does not stand for this. Raimon didn't start as a powerhouse. Winning the football frontier is just a pipe dream, and the new South Cirrus resembles that old Raimon who defied all odds. The team doubt Darian because he's never even saw the old Raimon play. But nobody on the team has even ever visited the old club room. They never saw the club's humble beginnings. So, Darian takes them there. He says there used to be a notebook that recorded how the old Raimon fought its way to the top. They rose from rock bottom, training non-stop, day in and day out, never giving up on victory. The team say it's obvious amateurs need to train. That's why the motto is practice makes perfect, which is exactly right. Except Raimon aren't training, they aren't practicing right now. They doubt South Cirrus and are confident that they aren't even that strong, but they haven't even watched a single match of South Cirrus. They haven't watched them play, and still somehow doubt them. Darien has watched every single match in the finals, and they have one strong area where they outmatch even Raimon. Raimon don't have a manager. Nobody to lead them, nobody to direct them. The rest of the team believe manager Norris suddenly quit and vanished. Norris gave them the freedom to play their own way, which is what's caused this false sense of confidence. But he did also personalise everyone's training plan, just the right challenge, just the right load. A good manager is a force multiplier. Raimon has a unique style that makes them easy to read, which puts them at a disadvantage against a team with such a sharp manager. Raimon at this second refused to believe that even for a moment that they might be the underdogs here. Their status at Raimon controls them. Darien tries to make them realise that if they were a bunch of nobodies, how did they beat the prestigious Royal Academy? Royal is Raimon's top rival. Mark Evans even said it himself. Destin Bellows is a monster. The only way Raimon can win is by crushing their analysis with raw power built through special training. Otherwise, that upstart monster that came out of nowhere will devour them all. Darien insists the team must go on the most brutal training they've ever done, but he has one more thing to say. Something he's trusting Harper with. Later on, Darien needs to find a way to gain the advantage. He's looking for someone, and Leah spots him and comes by. The words "power beyond analysis" keeps ringing in Darien's head, and he thinks Raimon need fresh talent the enemy isn't prepared for, something they can't develop a strategy around. This person should be nearby. The 7th grade goalkeeper candidate, Matilda Shadebow. She crushed the evaluations, and right now she's over by the wall, doing something bizarre, and it freaks people out. Everyone calls her Mama Sigdale, a name for Sigdale's Tale, a series that got turned into an anime. Supposedly, she's full-on obsessed. Matilda says she's strengthening her core, but it looks more like she's hugging the wall. She's trying to shift the stadium 1 centimeter, trying to resemble a goddess from Sigdale's Tale. Suddenly, the stadium starts shaking. And Darien asks her if she would like to be trained as Raimon's official goalkeeper. The final match of the Football Frontier tournament, Raimon versus South Cirrus. They both ready for their biggest match ever. They both walk out onto the field determined as ever. Everyone is here except Harper Evans. Without their star player, Raimon is still a formidable team, way stronger than South Cirrus, but such an absence may give South Cirrus the smallest chance to break through to victory. They are just a rookie team. And the whistle blows, starting the epic showdown. South Cirrus runs more on strategy than players' individual skill, and their captain from the bench took this no-name team to the finals. Both teams can't afford to make a single mistake, even one could cost the entire game. South Cirrus don't hesitate to break through the lines and show their willpower immediately. Within the opening minutes they take a shot with so much haste. Warmington had to save it with his fireball knuckle. It even seems like South Cirrus is dominating the field, but this does not last very long, as they begin running out of stamina quickly. South Cirrus finally see Raimon as the beasts they are. Raimon was simply having fun with them, but the South Cirrus players seem to have faith in their leader, Destin Bellows. Finally, they score the first goal coming off the foot of their captain. Darien and his ultimate Bahamut crash. Raimon lead 1-0 in the finals. To try to gain the upper hand in halftime, South Cirrus implement their tactic, southward suppression. and South Cirrus begin learning Raimon's moves and catching up to speed. For the remaining of the first half, both teams exchange attacks one after another, and in this game of chance, South Cirrus equalise. Raimon panic during half-time and decide they need to play to their own strengths in order to make a comeback. They didn't expect to be mowed down like this, but they can still adjust. There is 2 people in the crowd, watching, thinking about handing over a ton of advice, but it's strange to who these men are. Suddenly, you can hear some whirling, a helicopter in the sky, and coming from it, Harper Evans emerges. Diving from the sky like a majestic bird, reminiscing of what Destin told him that one evening when he was leaving South Cirrus. Destin had something to tell Harper. Harper soaring alone through the sky. He looks free, he looks happy, he looks ready. Destin doesn't want Harper to give up. The path ahead of Destin seemed dark to him at the time, but he didn't quit. Meeting everyone made him feel like it was worth not giving up. If Harper keeps on going, he will see his path. Harper felt relieved at the time that Destin too was down that dark path, that dark road, and he kept moving. Because of this, because of Destin, Harper promises he will return back to the path he once walked, to their collective victory road. And in a shocking turn of events, Harper soars onto the pitch, greeted by his team, who are overjoyed for him to return. Harper thinks this is the perfect time for a brand new special move to change the game around. If the training regimen that Harper gave Darian and Eleanor was completed, they should be able to pull off a new legendary move. But it's not so new. He's talking about the INAZUMA break, a move from the old coordinator's notebook, from the old club room from so long ago. But it's a special move that they haven't even practiced. But Harper doesn't care about failure. Fail once, you just try again. Try as many times as it takes until you succeed. Again and again. Even if it's lame, just keep trying. There's nothing cooler than that. He was stuck on Awaji Island, fighting a leg that wouldn't move right. His rehab felt more like boot camp. When he saw his own reflection, all disheveled and desperate, he never saw anyone look so lame. But for the first time, football didn't feel boring. It felt amazing. A fire sparked inside of him, and he decided right then he's playing no matter what. He points over to Destin Bellows, declares his victory. No one can underestimate him. He's already analysed their usual strategies. The only way to beat him is by using on-the-fly tactics, to fight as the once proud and invincible Raimon. Life is a performance on the fly. Even if you fail, just try again. And that's why he's going to play football again. The second half begins, and Harper can't be stopped. It's all or nothing for Raimon. They have to make this up as they go along, and they can't be afraid. They must find a way to trifle over South Cirrus. The long-forgotten, legendary INAZUMA break from the Raimon 11 has equalised the game in the final. This is anyone's game and it can go either way. Destin knew that Harper was coming. He believed he would not miss the chance to play against him. Both teams are now on equal footing and they need to make a break to victory. Harper has forged a new killer shot from his struggles in the darkness, his meteoric fire tornado. Raimon has taken that lead and Harper declares his victory to Destin. Raimon is back in their groove. Those two strange men from earlier continue to evaluate the game. One of these men is Mark Evans. He says victory is still out of Raimon's grasp for now, and Mark mentions that this other mysterious man has a kid that is waiting for him out there in the world. This man resembles the legendary Axel Blaze. Harper's aura is overwhelming. His mere presence is enough to turn the game around. This isn't just going to be another win for Raimon. It matters so much more, and it's because of Destin. He made this match possible. But in the distance, Destin ponders what move to make next. During the brief intermission after Harper's goal, everyone takes a second to realise their dreams may have been crushed right here, and they need to break back into the right mind. Destin, however, is reactionless. He's emotionless, and his mother worries about him. Maybe he is broken. South Cirrus can barely hang on in this moment. They're hanging on threads, and South Cirrus is making a substitution. Darian spots Mark Evans in the crowd, watching over the team he inspired, watching over South Cirrus stunned for a moment, for their captain, their leader, their mentor, and the guide to their dreams is substituting himself onto the pitch.
Substitution.
He shouldn't be playing in the match. He could get seriously hurt. He could have another heart attack just by running. But he thinks he can't direct it in this situation from the bench, so instead he will take control on the pitch. Everyone is at their limit, and they can't even follow through Destin's orders even if they want to. It may look as if they're drained of energy, but that's not the full picture. The goalkeeper and defenders can still chase the ball, but the midfielders and attackers are still in sharp minds. They just can't physically keep up. And suddenly, it makes sense. The special training prepared for this moment, South Cirrus's last-ditch tactic, the paradigm shift. From here on, neither team has the stamina to keep going, but Destin is prepared to swallow his pride and crawl to the finish line in an epic fight. There's nothing cooler than being beat down and giving it everything you've got. Destin lost football once and fell into despair, until he met Briar and decided to walk the path again. That day, Destin made up his mind to not look back anymore, only forward. South Cirrus are inspired to show Raimon what their raw football is really made of. As the match continues, Destin senses everything. Destin can direct his attack routes directly from the pitch and lead them through hand signals. Destin has come all of this way to take down this football monster, and the end of his victory road lies just ahead. Cedric puts himself on the line and uses this chance to unleash his Keshin, the Entertainer, which gives Cade and Alex the strength to combine both of their brand new special shots, equalising the game for South Cirrus. The game is split wide open once again, an absolute insane turn of events in the final. Suddenly, Raimon make a substitution, and they bring on Mama Sigdale to defend the Raimon goal. She will not let anyone get past her. Cade unleashes his mix and match personality and sends long balls through to Alex in the attacking end. South Cirrus find where Destin is guiding them. He can see so far ahead. He is him. He is him. And on the other end of Cade's long ball, Alex takes the shot and is blasting towards the goal. But Mama Sigdale unleashes her goddess special save and throws the ball to Harper, where he unleashes his Keshin, one that resembles his own father's Majin 25 years ago. Harper heads towards South Cirrus's goal and blasts off with a meteoric fire tornado victory. Setting ablaze to the ground, setting ablaze to the goal before Riker can even blink. But Destin won't let this happen. Destin won't let them fall into despair. Before South Cirrus can even process the fact Raimon took the lead again, Destin snaps them back into the right mind and persists through the storm. South Cirrus only have 7 minutes left before their dreams are over. Cade leads the attack and takes another shot, but Mama Sigdale unleashes her fingers of Gaia. This sudden super sub to keep South Cirrus struggling is the perfect strategy plan from Darian. Destin switches the team's gears again before they can process what's happened. He won't take a nanosecond break. Suddenly, the ball flies toward Destin, and he touches the ball for the very first time. Time moves slowly. The sound of the ball crushing his ears. The sight of everyone charging against him. He freezes. And suddenly,
Why'd you send it there? There's no one there. Wait. Go!
even Mark, watching this from the shadows of the crowd, now thinks this game is getting exciting. And Harper thinks so too. Harper will lead his team crawling through the mud and will seize victory. Both teams at the pinnacle of their dreams, giving it their all with only moments left. With 2 minutes left, the odds are near impossible. It's not just Harper that is a monster, Raimon is a monster. And the ball is passed to Harper and he crosses it with his fastest shot possible. The meteoric fire tornado victory over to the box with just seconds left, where it's met with the impact of a Bahamut crash, smashing into the net with the final kick of the game. The whistle blows, and Raimon, the reigning champions of the football frontier, and icons in Japan's youth football for the last 25 years, has won the football frontier once again. This was their best and most fulfilling game in their lives, and it's all because of Destin. Harper and Destin truly feel happy they got to play football together. They had fun. They think football is about to get a whole lot more interesting, and next time they will team up and make waves overseas on the world stage.
Now the radiant sun shines bright, lighting up the pitch that belongs to me.